Relegated from the Football League for the first time in their history this season, Notts County are the oldest professional football club in the world, having been founded in 1862. That's where we start our countdown of the best football teams founded every year since then, going right the way up to the present day in 2019. This is a video I've wanted to do for a while now, but I've been putting it off because it's a terrible idea. Not in the sense that I don't think it's interesting, personally I love stuff like this, and I hope you will too, but just because of the sheer volume of entrants. Every year, from 1862 to 2019, means, about 160 teams. So if I spoke about them all for say a minute, which is fairly typical for this channel, then the video would be 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Now, and I might be wrong, I suspect you wouldn't want that, but people would also probably feel a little shortchanged if there was no audio on this video at all and it was just a graphic going through the years with a club badge of the best team founded that year, which I also contemplated. Hopefully, in the end, I've found a happy medium, as I'm going to go into a little bit of depth for some years and just breeze over a few others. There really was no other way. I should add, in 90% of cases, saying who was the best team founded in each year seemed pretty obvious, but in the instances where it was a much tighter call, I went with the team who I thought would win if the 2 or 3 teams played each other right now. Here are my views on the best football team founded every year from 1862 to 2019. 1862. Notts County. Not the world's oldest football club, Sheffield FC fans will be keen for me to point out, Notts County are the oldest professional football club on the planet. Founded way back in 1862, before the Football Association had even been formed, Notts County provided the inspiration for Italian giant Juventus' home kit and colours. They were relegated from the Football League for the first time this season. 1863. Stoke City. The oldest club in the Football League following Notts County's relegation, Stoke City were founded in 1863 as Stoke Ramblers, although they didn't play their first documented match until 1868. Over 150 years on from their founding, the Potters are currently in the Championship. 1864. Wrexham. The third oldest professional football club in the world and the oldest from Wales, Wrexham were founded in 1864 and now compete in the National League along with Notts County. 1865. Nottingham Forest. It should come as no surprise that the early parts of this list are dominated by British clubs, and you will see patterns and groupings of nations and regions as football establishes itself across the globe throughout this list. Founded in 1865 and now regulars in the Championship, Nottingham Forest are 2-time European champions, and the last English club we'll talk about in depth for a little while. 1866. Chesterfield. 1867. Sheffield Wednesday. 1868. Long Melford. 1869. Kilmarnock. The oldest professional football club in Scotland, Kilmarnock turned 150 years old in 2019, and they celebrated that landmark in style by securing European football for the first time since 2001 for next season. 1870. Stranraer. 1871. Reading. 1872. Rangers. There will no doubt be Celtic fans in the comments saying Rangers died and reformed in 2012, and I'm not touching that one with a 50-foot pole. I'll bow down to the judgment of the footballing authorities who consider Rangers of 2019 to be the same Rangers as that of 1872, and as arguably the most successful football club on earth in terms of trophies, they are the obvious choice for 1872. 1873. Gainsborough Trinity. 1874. Aston Villa. Since they just won promotion back to the top flight, we should say a little word on Aston Villa. Founded 144 years ago, Villa are the 6th most successful club in the history of English football, ahead of the likes of Everton and Man City. 1875. Blackburn Rovers. 1876. Middlesbrough. 1877. Wolverhampton Wanderers. 1878. Manchester United. 1878 is the first year in which 2 giant football clubs were founded, namely Manchester United and Everton. Manchester United were initially formed as Newton Heath before changing their name in 1902. It's right that we should mention Everton, but obviously Manchester United take it for 1878. 1879. Fulham. 1880. Manchester City. We said you tend to see little groupings in this list, and that is even true of specific cities. Just a couple of years after Manchester United were founded, Manchester City were also founded, and I thought I should go into a tiny bit of depth on the reigning Premier League champions before the inevitable comments asking why they didn't come in top for the year 2008. 1881. Watford. Historically speaking, you'd have to go with Bordeaux for 1881, but since it's a close call, I'm going with Watford, who I think are probably the better team right now. In fairness, although Bordeaux were founded in 1881, they didn't actually start playing football until 1910, so Watford are probably the right choice either way. 1882. Tottenham Hotspur. 1883. Châteauroux. 1884. Leicester City. 1885. Southampton. 1886. Arsenal. Founded in 1886, Arsenal were the first club from the south of England to turn professional and the first to join the Football League. They also became the first southern team to win the Football League back in 1931, and they are now firmly among the 3 most successful football clubs from England. 1887. Hamburg. Although Hamburg, as we know them today, were formed by the merging of 3 clubs back in 1919, the oldest of those clubs, SC Germania, were founded in 1887, and Hamburg's official founding date is put down as 131 years ago. Hamburg did hold the distinction of being the only team to play continuously in the Bundesliga since its creation in 1963, but they were relegated in 2018. 1888. Celtic. The second of the 2 Glasgow Giants to feature in this list, Celtic were founded in 1888, and they are the dominant force in Scottish football right now. 1889. Rosario. Founded by the employees of the English-owned Central Argentine Railway, Rosario are one of the oldest clubs in Argentina, and the first of a string of South American teams that will make this list. Premier League new boys, Sheffield United, were also founded in 1889. 1890. Sevilla. The second oldest sports club in Spain, solely devoted to football, and the oldest in La Liga, Sevilla were founded 129 years ago. Having enjoyed modest success in the domestic game, Sevilla began a love affair with the Europa League around 15 years ago, and they have since won the trophy 5 times. 1891. Peñarol. The most successful club in Uruguay, Peñarol, the second most successful club in Belgium, Club Brugge, and the 4th most successful club in Sweden, AIK, were all founded in 1891. Peñarol are the pick of the trio, having been the dominant force in Uruguayan football, along with Nacional for more than 100 years. 1892. Liverpool. The second most successful club in England and the most successful English club in Europe, Liverpool were originally founded in 1892 as Everton Athletic, but soon changed their name to Liverpool instead. 1893. Porto. The oldest of Portugal's big 3, Porto were founded in 1893 by Antonio Almeida, a local wine merchant who had fallen in love with football during his trips to England. 1894. Bristol City. 1895. West Ham. This one was a tough call between Brazilian outfit Flamengo and Premier League regulars West Ham. On the grounds of who'd win a game right now, we're going for West Ham, who were originally founded as Thames Ironworks. 1896. Udinese. 1897. Juventus. The most successful football club in Italian football by far, Juventus were founded in 1897, originally with the name Sport Club Juventus. 1898. Athletic Bilbao. Few people seem to know that Athletic Bilbao are the 3rd most successful club in Spain, trailing only Barcelona and Real Madrid. The Basque-based outfit were formed 121 years ago by British workers and Basque students, and they have since won 34 trophies. 1899. Barcelona. The only year in which two genuine titans of the world game were founded, both Barcelona and AC Milan were founded in 1899. As the most successful club in Spain and one of the best supported teams in world football, I'd still say Barca are the obvious choice. If there was any debate, our 2019 match criteria would surely result in the same outcome. 1900. Bayern Munich. Only just coming to the turn of the century, you can see why I can't elaborate more on every team, otherwise we'd be here forever. We give a quick word to Bayern Munich though, since the Bavarian Giants are the dominant force in German football and have been for a long time. They beat Dutch giants Ajax to take top spot for 1900. 1901. River Plate. 1902. Real Madrid. The most successful team in the history of European competitions, Real Madrid won the first 5 European Cups, and they were named as the FIFA Club Team of the 20th Century back in 2000. 1903. Atletico Madrid. There's that regional link we talked about earlier again. 1904. Benfica. The most successful club in Portugal, Benfica have won 37 domestic league titles as well as a couple of European Cups during the era of Eusebio. 1905. Chelsea. A very good case can be made for Boca Juniors for 1905, certainly historically, but between the two in 2019, Chelsea would be our choice. 1906. Sporting Club de Portugal. 1907. Real Sociedad. The most competitive year without an obvious winner, the likes of Augsburg, Atalanta, Real Sociedad and Fenerbahce were all founded in 1907. We think Sociedad are probably the pick of the quartet right now, so I've gone for them. 1908. Inter Milan. 1909. Borussia Dortmund. 1910. Corinthians. Our first inclusions from the great footballing nation of Brazil, Sport Club Corinthians Paulista, was Brazil's first great working-class football team, founded by workers from the Sao Paulo Railway. 1911. CSKA Moscow. The oldest football club in Russia, CSKA Moscow, were founded in 1911, and they dominated Soviet football in the immediate post-war era. 1912. Santos. 1913. PSV. 1914. Palmeiras. 1915. Llamas. 1916. Club America. Formed by the merging of two college teams in 1916, Club America have gone on to become Liga MX's most successful side with 13 league titles to their name. 1917. Rosenborg. We had the choice of another Mexican club Toluca and Norwegian champions Rosenborg for 1917. Arguments can be made for and against the pair of them, but we'll go for Rosenborg. 1918. Fortaleza. 1919. Valencia. 1920. Sassuolo. 1921. Cruzeiro. 1922. Spartak Moscow. 1923. Villarreal. 1924. Monaco. 1925. Zenit St. Petersburg. We've gone for Zenit St. Petersburg, but it could just as easily have been Greek Super League giants Olympiakos for 1925. 1926. Napoli. 1927. Roma. 1928. Leganes. 1929. Chievo. 1930. Rostov. 1931. Rennes. 1932. Zaragoza. 1933. Tondela. Founded 85 years ago, Tondela were playing in the 5th tier of Portuguese football as recently as 2005. They have had an extraordinary rise since then though, and have spent the last 4 seasons in the Portuguese Primeira Liga, or Liga NOS, the top flight of Portuguese football. 1934. Peterborough United. 1935. Deportivo Municipal. 1936. Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar are the most popular club in Ukraine and the second most successful, and they look likely to soon overtake DYNAMO Kiev on that front too. 1937. Nîmes. 1938. Hiroshima. A company team for the Mazda Motor Corporation, Sanfrecce Hiroshima were founded in 1938, 7 years before the city was devastated by the atomic bomb. Hiroshima still compete in the J1 League, the top flight of Japanese football, which they won in 2012, 2013 and 2015. 1939. Rio Ave. 1940. Eibar. 1941. Independiente Santa Fe. Formed 78 years ago, Independiente Santa Fe won the 1948 Campeonato Profesional, the first season of nationwide professional football in Colombia. That was shortly followed by the remarkable El Dorado era of Colombian football, and rumour has it, if you Google Neil Franklin or England's Greatest Defender, or just go to www.englandsgreatestdefender.com, you'll find the most fascinating and jaw-dropping football book ever written, available to pre-order now, which covers the history of Santa Fe and that era of Colombian football in depth. 1942. Sovetov. 1943. Nantes. 1944. Lille. 1945. Wolfsburg. 1946. Sampdoria. 1947. Steaua Bucharest. The most successful club in Romania, Steaua went a world record 104 league games unbeaten during the mid to late 1980s, an era which saw the club reach 2 European Cup finals, of which they won 1. 1948. Cologne. 1949. Las Palmas. 1950. Lyon. 1951. Atlético Nacional. 1952. Arouca. 1953. Lugo. 1954. Pumas. 1955. Crystal. The youngest of Peru's Big Three, despite only being founded 63 years ago, Sporting Cristal have already won 19 league titles, the most recent of which came in 2015. 1956. Al Tawun. The first Middle Eastern entrants in this list, Al Tawun were founded in 1956 and are currently managed by former Hearts boss Paulo Sergio. 1957. Al Hilal. 1958. Ruben Kazan. 1959. Qatar SC. 1960. Tigres. 1961. Once Caldes. Originally known as Deportes Caldes and founded in 1947, they merged with another team to become Once Caldes in 1961, and technically that was considered the formation of a new team. 1962. Roda. The human race was almost wiped out in 1962 by nuclear weapons due to the Cuban Missile Crisis, and if it had, football fans in Kirkrad would have been some of the biggest losers. Thankfully, it wasn't, and Roda were formed that year. 1963. Bursaspor. 1964. Brøndby. 1965. FC Twente. 1966. Antalyaspor. 1967. AZ Alkmaar. We said this list would be bunched up regionally in places, and it seems to be the turn of the Dutch, Turkish and Arab Gulf states in the 1960s. AZ Alkmaar take it for 67, the year of the Summer of Love, the release of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and the Six-Day War. 1968. Al Ain. 1969. Al Sadd. For most, the year 1969 is synonymous with the first manned mission to the moon, but for 11 Qatari schoolchildren, the oldest of whom was 17, it will always be known as the year they founded a football club. Half a century on, that team is now managed by Spanish legend Xavi. 1970. PSG. A rare European giant this late on in the list, Paris Saint-Germain were formed by a merger in 1970. From Qatari clubs to Qatari investment, PSG have been transformed since Qatar Sports Investment became their major shareholders back in 2011. 1971. Groningen. 1972. Real Madrid B. No, seriously. 1973. Chapecoense. A team that rose from the 4th tier of Brazilian football in 2009 to the top flight in 2014, young side Chapecoense are sadly best known for losing the vast majority of their players in a plane crash before the club's biggest ever game back in 2016. They're still in the top flight of Brazilian football right now though. 1974. Al Jazeera. 1975. Fuenlabrada. 1976. Orenburg. 1977. Zamora. The best team in Venezuela right now, having won 5 of the last 6 league titles, Zamora FC were only founded 42 years ago. 1978. Ashanti Gold. Our first African inclusions, I think I'm right in saying, Ashanti Gold are one of the best teams in Ghana, currently fighting it out with Mediam of the top spot in the Ghanaian Premier League. 1979. Maritzburg. Top flight South African side Maritzburg are currently managed by former Cagliari and Barnsley midfielder Eric Tinkler. 1980. Osaka. 1981. Academia Deportivo Cantaloa. A Peruvian top-flight team with the dolphin on their badge, Academia Deportivo Cantaloa are better known for their academy than their first team, and particularly for being the club where Claudio Pizarro began his career. 1982. Jeju United. 1983. Getafe. Probably the best team founded in a decade, Getafe CF replaced Club Getafe Deportivo in 1983. Getafe are the 4th club from the Madrid metropolitan area to feature in this list, joining Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Leganes. 1984. Arsenal Chula. 1985. Supersport United. 1986. Troyes. 1987. Monegas. 1988. Sony Sendai FC. 1989. Almeria. 1990. Istanbul Başakşehir. Founded in 1990 and renamed in 2014, Istanbul Başakşehir have risen to prominence over the last 10 years in Turkish football and are among the best teams founded in the last 30 years. They finished second in the Turkish Super League in the 2016-17 season and second again this season, with a squad boasting the likes of Gael Clichy, Arda Turan, Demba Ba and Robinho. 1991. FC Nordsjælland. 1992. FC Copenhagen. 1993. Shanghai Shenhua. The home of Odion Ighalo, Giovanni Moreno and Freddie Guarin, Shanghai Shenhua are one of the most free-spending sides in the Chinese Super League, and they are led by former Watford and Atletico Madrid manager Quique Sanchez Flores. 1994. Guangzhou Evergrande. Staying in China, Guangzhou Evergrande have been the dominant force in the Chinese Super League since winning their first title in 2011, and they currently have the likes of Paulinho and Talisca in a squad marshalled by former Ballon d'Or winner Fabio Cannavaro. 1995. Suwon. 1996. LA Galaxy. Arguments can be made for LA Galaxy and New York Red Bulls being founded in 1994, but Major League Soccer only kicked off in 1996, so that is their official founding year. It is between those two, and we'd probably just edge towards the Galaxy. 1997. Chicago Fire. 1998. Dijon. 1999. FC Midtjylland. Celebrating their 20th anniversary this year, FC Midtjylland are one of the best teams in Denmark, and they finished second to the best team founded in 1992, FC Copenhagen, this season. 2000. Jiangsu Suning. 2001. FC Botasani. 2002. Daegu. It makes sense for the best team founded in 2002 to be a South Korean or Japanese side, since the game was flooded with funding and interest as the two nations jointly hosted the World Cup that year. Daegu takes the title, and the K-League side's chairman is the mayor of Daegu. 2003. Adelaide United. We seem to have a good number of viewers from Australia, so I'm delighted to welcome our first Aussie entrants for the year 2003 as Adelaide United. Adelaide have won 2 A-League titles, and they finished 4th this season. 2004. Ingolstadt. Formed in 2004 through a merger of ESV Ingolstadt and MTV Ingolstadt, Ingolstadt finished 11th in the Bundesliga under Southampton boss Ralf Hasenhüttl only a few years ago, but they dropped into the 3rd tier of German football this season. 2005. RB Salzburg. SV Austria Salzburg, the club purchased by Red Bull in 2005, were founded in 1933, but they were refounded as RB Salzburg in 2005, and they've become an unstoppable force in Austrian football virtually ever since. 2006. Houston Dynamo. 2007. Krasnodar. 2008. GANGWON. 2009. RB Leipzig. Another Red Bull job, Red Bull acquired the playing rights of SSV Markenstrad following a series of attempts to start a club in Germany in 2009. RB Leipzig have since risen rapidly through the leagues, and they finished 3rd in the Bundesliga this season. 2010. Ufa. 2011. Sepsi OSK. 2012. Astra Gugu. Best known, in England at least, for knocking West Ham out of the Europa League in consecutive seasons and almost giving this man a heart attack, Romanian outfit Astra Gugu have won Romania's top flight once in 2016. 2013. Atletico San Luis. Only founded 6 years ago, Atletico San Luis were promoted to Liga MX, the top tier of Mexican football, for the first time this season. 2014. Paphos FC. Another team formed via a merger, Cypriot First Division outfit Paphos FC are the youngest team in this list, currently competing in a top-flight UEFA league. 2050. New York City FC. Part of the City football group that also owns the likes of Manchester City and Melbourne City, New York City FC began playing in 2015, and a list of former players, which already includes the likes of Frank Lampard, David Villa, and Andrea Pirlo, isn't bad going for a 4-year-old club. 2016. Cape Town City. Managed by Benny McCarthy, young South African side Cape Town City finished 4th in the ABSA Premiership this season. 2017. Atlanta United. The joint 3rd youngest team in Major League Soccer, Atlanta United began playing in US Soccer's premier competition in 2017, and they won the MLS Cup in just their 2nd season in 2018, before selling Miguel Almiron to Newcastle United in a lucrative deal. 2018. Los Angeles FC. Just like Atlanta United, Los Angeles FC are having an excellent 2nd season as a football club, currently top of the Western Conference, with Carlos Vela looking like a good shout for the division's MVP award. 2019. FC Cincinnati. There are a few clubs that have formed in 2019, such as yet another Red Bull franchise in Brazil named Red Bull Bragantino, and non-league North Ferriby FC, who had to be reformed after North Ferriby United went under. Ultimately though, despite having a difficult start to life in the MLS, we think MLS New Boys FC Cincinnati are the strongest of those three sides. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, let us know your thoughts in the comments and any future video ideas you'd like to see from me. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you enjoy our content.